Hi, my name is Todd Reimer. I'm the founder of Boots on the Ground Coaching, an organization that's dedicated to taking proven leadership principles and putting them into the context of our audience. Now, we don't need the leadership principles simplified. What we do need is for them to be put into a context that we most easily relate to them and understand them best in. Last week I had the opportunity to lead a workshop for approximately 50 key leaders. Now, the two leadership tools that we talked about was number one, effective communication, and number two, how do we lead productive conflict. Both of these tools work extremely well together because these are two challenges that exist for every single leader. How do we become effective communicators, and how do we lead productive conflict? These are two of the most important tools that a leader can become proficient at. I want to share one part of the workshop with you today. It's a critical component to effective communication. What I want to do is make it available for you to use and to put into practice. Please put it into practice in your workplace and in your personal life. It will make a significant difference with whoever you're needing to communicate with. Now, if you're wanting more, either more tools from effective communication or leading productive conflict or any of the other number of tools that we train leaders in, please head to my website. You'll be able to get all these tools in two books that I've written, More Than a Hammer, Leadership Tools for the Trades, and also in the modules that we present on a weekly basis. Every Wednesday and Thursday morning for 3 hours, there's a different module, that brings a specific leadership tool. Now, the modules are live. They're not pre-recorded. So you're going to get the teaching directly from me, the instructor, but also you're going to have real-time interaction with other people who are participating in the module, people who lead just like you. Now, here's one of the critical components to effective communication. Alice. No, not the name Alice, but Alice, A-L-U-S. Here's how we use this tool to become an effective communicator. The A stands for ask. We need to ask good questions. We need to make sure that we're asking questions before we make statements. Take the time to ask the person we're communicating with where they're coming from, what they're understanding, why they did what they did, what made them think the choice that they made was a good choice, and there's a number of other questions that we can get into. Secondly, L stands for listen. Truly listen to what their answers are, but also just, or even maybe more important, listen to what they're not saying. Everybody communicates with our tone, with our posture, with our facial expressions, body language. Make sure you listen to what is actually being said. Take the time and put the effort into listening. And third, the U stands for understand. Make a significant effort to understand where the other person is coming from professionally, if it's a professional issue, or if it's a personal issue, where they're coming from, so that you have a good understanding of how they're approaching the issue and how they are potentially going to understand what you're about to say. And this leads us to the S. So after we've asked good questions, listened to the responses, and understood a little bit more about the person we're communicating with and how they're addressing the issues, now it's our turn to speak. We need to speak clearly and concisely. This is the time where we bring our message. We put our message forward. We need to make sure that we're clear. Now, how we do this is to make sure that we write things down prior to the conversation. What do we really need to communicate? What are the key issues? What are the key pieces of information that we need to make sure that the other person or people understand exactly how we mean it and need it to be understood? You see, as we go through the steps in Alice, it gives us as a leader the opportunity to formulate our message more clearly. We have the ability to understand the other person because we don't just stop at speaking. We go through the process again. We ask them questions about what we just said, about what the issues are, and we gain a better understanding of how much they actually understood. What it also does as we go through Alice is it gives us the opportunity to control our emotions. So often we go into a communication with high emotions, especially if it's a conflict situation. Our emotions are running high and running strong. That is not the time to say too much at all. Going through Alice gives us the opportunity to bring our own emotions under control. And that's where understanding the other person helps as well. Now we're going to be able to deal with facts more effectively and rule out many of our feelings. How often do we hear someone say, well, I feel this, or I feel that this is why they did this? What we want to deal with are facts. When I feel somebody responded a certain way and I make assumptions, I'm usually wrong. Going through Alice gives me the time and gives me the insight to understand what the facts truly are. It gives us an ability, as we ask questions and listen, to get to what the real truth of the matter actually is. How much does the other person truly understand about what we're saying? It gives us the ability to make our own message more clear, to make our message more concise. The more clarity we can bring to our message, the better chance the other person has of understanding it and implementing what we need them to implement. Now that's Alice, and Alice can make a tremendous difference professionally and personally in our ability to communicate effectively. Put it into practice. Give it a shot. ALUS, Alice. Ask, listen, understand, and speak. If you're wanting the rest of the components for the tool on effective communication, or maybe on conflict, or maybe how to lay out clear expectations for the people that we supervise, and how do we measure those expectations, and then how do we hold people accountable, those are some of the other tools that you'll find on my website at www.bootsonthegroundcoaching.com. There's a link below that you're going to be able to click. Once you hit my website, you're going to see a menu line, and there you're going to be able to click on Books and get access to More Than a Hammer, Leadership Tools for the Trades, Part 1 and Part 2, and these books contain all of these tools and more. You're also going to be able to click on Leadership Modules on the same menu line, and it's going to take you to the 9 modules that we're offering right now on Wednesday and Thursday mornings for 3 hours. And again, these are not pre-recorded, they're live. Not just live instruction, but live interaction with real people leading in real situations. Now, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to meet you through one of our modules, or for the time that you're going to spend in my books, More Than a Hammer, Leadership Tools for the Trades. Good luck in implementing Alice in your communication today.